Alright, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Chupacabra Tutorials channel. I'm your host, Larry, and today I'm going to walk you through how to use NordVPN, what the broad majority of the settings are and do, and how to get the most out of it to protect your privacy, because the whole goal of NordVPN is to allow you to safely browse the internet without people snooping on what you are doing. So for a lot of people, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to log in to the app and you're going to be greeted by this page where things are either turned on or off by default. What are they? What do they do? And for a lot of people, the main thing that you're here for is you just want a VPN. You want to turn it on and go nuts from there. And the simple answer is we just say quick connect here at the top. It'll automatically pick a VPN location nearby to where we are. I'm in Colorado, so it'll probably pick the one here in Colorado or an adjacent state, and then it'll automatically connect to whatever location is most appropriate to me, and then boom, I'm protected. I'm connected to a VPN somewhere else, and it gives me a temporary IP based upon whatever server I'm connected to. And then if at any time I'm done using the VPN, like I'm currently at a Starbucks and I just want to browse the internet safely, and then I go home and it's not as important when I'm home, I can then click disconnect and it'll ask me if I want to disconnect permanently or if I want to just turn it off for 5 minutes, for 15 minutes, for an hour, or just leave it disconnected. And there's a couple reasons why you might want only a temporary disconnect so you don't forget to reconnect to your VPN. One is there's a lot of services out there that don't really like it when you log in via a VPN, or they have problems that occur when you log in via VPN, even if they don't detect that you are using a VPN, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of different reasons why you'd want to temporarily disable it, and then you can easily, after an hour, have it automatically reconnect. Similarly, while you are connected, there's a couple different settings down below that option. So these are your recent connections, where based upon if you go to this map or globe icon on the left-hand side, you can manually select from a huge number of servers all over the planet to connect from. And if you connect to a lot of ones a lot, or whatever you've connected to most recently, the quick connect feature over here will allow you to just connect to ones that you've connected to recently, assuming that those are ones that you'd want to connect to fairly often. There's also some other connection types that you can click on down here, where you can pay to have a dedicated IP address that NordVPN uses across all of their different servers. When you log into the service and connect to one of them, they'll try to use your personal dedicated IP. But this is one of those options that you actually have to pay for. This isn't included in your NordVPN plan. You can also use a double VPN. And what is a double VPN? This is actually connecting to two VPN servers at once. So first it connects to one VPN server, encrypting your data, and then it connects to a second VPN, and only then does it unencrypt your data when you want to connect to the broad wide web. So the tunnel from start to finish across two servers is supposed to be encrypted. Obfuscated servers are where NordVPN connects to specialty obfuscated servers that they have that hide the fact that you are currently using a VPN. That's why I said before about the whole some services don't work right, even if they can't detect that you're using a VPN. If you're having that trouble, but you still want to use a VPN, try clicking on obfuscated servers, and that will attempt to connect to one of their obfuscation servers and hide the fact that you're on a VPN. And then we've got the Onion over VPN service. This is where they use the power of the Tor browser to encrypt and hide your traffic, and then use a VPN as well. I'm not sure how well specifically some of these settings work. That's just kind of what they are and how they are explained on the NordVPN website. And then of course down here, we have the peer-to-peer connection, where instead of connecting directly to the NordVPN servers, it tries to use a peer-to-peer mesh network of other users in order to set that up. So you can use a peer-to-peer network as well, or if I want to just disconnect, I can just automatically quick connect and I can just pick a server that's connected near me. In my case, there's a server in Denver, so that one works just fine for my purposes. But if I wanted to, I could go around on this map, and you can find this map in the left-hand sidebar. There's just a map that says VPNs, and I can connect up into Seattle if I wanted to. All you got to do is click on it. I could even go over and I could say I want to connect over in South Africa. I could just click on the icon for South Africa and do that. And to a certain extent, depending on what service you're talking about, like for things like video streaming over the web, being able to connect via a VPN to another part of the world would technically give you access to a lot of the content from over in that region of the world, although a lot of those services now detect if you're using a VPN. So you'd have to use an obfuscated server and play around with those settings based upon one of these regions. Because you can either click fastest server or you can pick a region specifically that you want to via a country in order to try to hide the fact that you're using a VPN. But again, I'm in the US here in Colorado, so connecting to Denver on the other side of the state is not a bad idea. It would serve all the purposes that I need a VPN for in order to connect to the web. So yeah, it's back here connected to Denver for me, which is my closest server on the other side of the state. So before we move on, if you're interested in picking up a copy of or a subscription to NordVPN, I have an affiliate link in the video description below. This will get you a discount of about 66% off, or at least that's what it was the last time I looked when I made this video. And you also get 4 free months of NordVPN. And what they're offering you is the ability to connect to the internet from another location, to not only hide your location, but also hide information from the ISP that you're using so that people can't track what you're doing on the internet. It keeps your activity safe so people can't do things like try to break into your bank account when you connect via like a Starbucks Wi-Fi somewhere or a McDonald's. It's got things to help block malware while you're browsing the web. It's got a built-in ad blocker so you don't get pestered by really obnoxious, annoying ads that try to pop up into your face when you're looking at recipes. And it also helps to protect you from malicious files that could get downloaded onto your computer by mistake. It's got a whole bunch of really great stuff built into it. It's not just for your privacy, but it also has a lot of great protection, almost like a miniature antivirus program. So with that out of the way, if you're interested, you've been kind of on the fence and you want to try it out for yourself, go ahead and give that link a click. It'll get you a discount and it helps the channel out. It helps me make the great tutorials that I make every day. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at some of the other settings that are built into the program. Here on the sidebar, you've got some of those threat protections that I was talking about. And we can even go click on the shield over here on the sidebar to take a closer look at what that entails. So if I turn on web protection, I can then click on view activities and customize. And here is what it does for you. So it protects you on the web, just sort of like a blanket statement, but it helps to try to protect you from accidentally downloading malware. It'll give you warnings that certain websites that you're about to view have been known to give malware to people that visit them. It's got a built-in ad blocker, which is something I really like. I mean, I have an ad blocker on my network at home, but when I'm traveling, this is a fantastic thing to have on my laptop so that I don't have to get pestered by unnecessary ads all the time. It's got a web tracker blocker so that people aren't tracking all the different places that I go on the web trying to advertise to me. It's got a URL trimmer, which tries to clean out the stuff that websites put in their actual URL to track where you've been and where you're going. And it also filters out the DNS to help prevent ads and malicious domains before they can try to attack your computer. You can also go down here if you see that there is a blocked domain, like YouTube, for example, and you can click on the 3 dots, and you can either view details about why that domain is blocked, or you can remove it from the history of things that are blocked, or you can exclude that from threat blocking. And there's some similar protections that are offered, things like file protection, so I can turn that on, and I can view the activity. So I've got some free vector graphics that I downloaded from a site that I do trust, so I don't really need to block that. So what this does is it just has cloud-based threat detection, where it adds an additional layer of protection from unknown threats. If a file looks suspicious, it'll do a quick scan, and they upload it to the cloud to kind of cross-reference if it's questionable. It detected 3 packages of free vector art that I picked up from a website that I actually do trust, that I used to make some Valentine's Day stickers and cards for members of my family. I can already tell them that that's not particularly suspicious, but they're going to check it anyway, which is always good. You can never be too careful. It wouldn't be the first time that a website that I or somebody else has gone to suddenly got compromised when you weren't looking. That has happened before. And then we also have vulnerability detection. So this is just a program addition where certain apps that you run on your computer can, from version to version, be known to have different security vulnerabilities that could open up your computer to people breaking into it and stealing your private information. This attempts to scan your computer to see if there's anything on there that might have one of those vulnerabilities. Clearly, I don't have any, but if it does, it would pop up down here in the list and give you a recommendation about what to do about that. So that's kind of the broader protections that are available in the app. They work pretty well. I mean, the ones that I like specifically are things like the ad blocker, the malicious blocker that blocks certain websites and apps and stuff from functioning while you're browsing the web can do things like break certain video players on websites that you do trust. So if you notice that certain things on websites you use a lot and you know are not malicious are breaking, some of these web protection filters might be doing that. So you can just go in here and turn some of those off. If you notice that, like, the web player on your favorite recipe site broke recently, which is actually one of the issues that I had a couple months ago. So over here we have some other kind of handy tools. This is file transfers. You can create your own meshnet using NordVPN. So this allows you to link your personal device in a type of mesh network. Like, let's say you got your computer added at home, your computer at work, or your computer at your aunt's house. And then you can send your personal files safely and securely encrypted directly across the internet using NordVPN so that nobody tries to break into them or steal them or whatever. And then you can link this one. You can also link an external device if they're logged into your NordVPN at another location and they're currently turned on, and then allows you to send those files, which is kind of handy. I don't personally have more than one computer right now with this turned on it, but if I did, I could show you that, and it's kind of a handy feature. I'll probably do a specific tutorial about that in the not too distant future. After that, you can see a list of all of the devices that are currently in your mesh network. I've named this one Colorado, where you can then click on which one you want to send a file to. So I could say, let's say I want to send it to my desktop in Colorado. I can click on that and I can share a file. I can route traffic to this location if I want to use this location for my own private VPN purposes and not necessarily use one of NordVPN's servers to connect. Or I can link additional devices to my meshnet that I've made myself. You can also see a link of external devices that you've got set up that are from other NordVPN users. You can, if you got like a friend who's in like Oklahoma that you want to connect to and add them to your own personal mesh network, maybe it's someone you work with, maybe it's a good friend of yours, you can link their device and that will show up here if it's not connected directly to your account. And then the last one is the dark web monitoring service. So this is one of those services that a few different companies have got, where it's basically going to look through a bunch of different websites to see if some of your passwords have been compromised, if some of your data has been compromised, and try to give you a warning based off of that. Now, this works better if you have their other service called NordPass. It's a lot like Lastpass. It controls and keeps track of all of your passwords for you and keeps them secure and encrypted. I don't currently have that set up, although I guess as one of their affiliates, I have access to that now. When I do have that set up and I've got kind of a feel for it, I will show you how to use that. But just know that dark web monitoring offers you a variety of different ways to know if your data has been compromised, and it tries to alert you to that if it feels like some of that information is pertinent to you. But if you don't have things like NordPass, it probably doesn't necessarily know if you've been involved in breaches. So these would be just kind of general purpose notifications. Hey, do you do business with this company? They just had a data breach. For the most part, though, I'm going to leave that off because, I mean, I'm pretty aware of changing my passwords pretty regularly and trying to keep my stuff on lockdown. And then last but not least, you've got this little bubble down here that allows you to report a problem and contact NordVPN's support staff for help. And then here we have some general update information and general like settings for the overall app itself. So the first thing is, since I logged in yesterday, there is an update available, so I can make sure that this is up to date by clicking on update, which I will do after this video is over. You've also got some general app preferences here. Do you want this to be turned on when Windows starts? You can turn that on and off. You can launch the app but have it minimized. You can show the VPN connection status notifications in your notification section of Windows. You can show the MeshNet file sharing option in the context menu for Windows. You can change the appearance settings to light or dark, or the system settings. My system settings are dark, but it doesn't appear to change it to dark, but ooh, that's nice. I kind of like that. I usually use the dark appearance theme, but I'll leave it to light since that's what I started this tutorial on. And then language, you can set it to English. It's got Dutch, Spanish, French, Italian, Netherlands, Polski, Portuguese, and a whole bunch of other ones that I'm not entirely certain which Asian language is which here. I apologize that I cannot tell you. And then you can also do you want to send the data back to NordVPN about your app usage to help them improve the app? This is like things like errors that you have will automatically get logged and that sort of thing. You can turn that on or off if you want. If you're having problems with the app or support tells you to run diagnostics, your run diagnostics button is right here. And then allow background processes. This is what allows this to work in the background and enable things like the kill switch and app updates and all that stuff. The kill switch is actually something that is down here. So what this does is it disables certain apps or all apps from being able to access the internet without using a VPN. So you can actually set this up so that certain apps cannot use it without your permission or without being connected to a VPN. And you do that by clicking Add Apps. You'll bring up a big list of all the apps plugged into your computer, and you can just select which ones with a check mark over here. But I don't need to do that, or at least I'm not going to do that. Maybe I should do that. I haven't quite decided yet. But you can basically say disable internet access when a VPN connection drops unexpectedly, or disable internet access when you disconnect from the VPN manually, or the connection drops unexpectedly. So you can basically make it so that the only way that your computer is going to be accessing the internet is with a VPN active or nothing at all. And then you can also set it up by toggling this on, that any apps in the kill switch list cannot access the internet at all without the VPN, but other ones that are off the list can. So it's completely up to you. I'm going to leave this default for right now. That way it disables the internet access if the VPN drops unexpectedly. You turning it off is not unexpected, because I'm assuming you have full control over your fingers and your thumbs when you're trying to turn things on or off. And I'm assuming that the application's going to assume that too. Connection. Manage your VPN connection settings. So your VPN protocol, I have it set to auto, but you can use one of these if you understand which one they are and which one you prefer. You can set up auto connect on all networks, only on Wi-Fi networks or on Ethernet networks. You can click which ones of these that you want or you don't want. I'm going to leave it set to all. You can also click on this to set up trusted Wi-Fi networks. It'll basically just have a button for your current Wi-Fi network, and you can click on yes, I do trust my current network, or if you don't click it. VPN connection after quitting the app. Ask every time, or stay connected or disconnect. You can use a custom DNS if you want, and if you enable this, you can put in DNS information here, the IP address for the DNS servers. Like if you wanted to use Google, you can literally Google Google's DNS server address and use that one. Otherwise, it'll probably default to using whatever your ISP is. Like I've got Starlink, so I'd be using their DNS server to connect to the web. But you can technically use anyone's. You can also set it to stay invisible on a LAN network. And you can also allow remote access while connected to the VPN. I'm going to leave that off. I literally only allow remote access in specific situations, and it's been a very long time. So basically, you can also set up split tunneling, where if you know there's certain delicate apps on your computer, like maybe ones regularly are bleh. So you can set up split tunneling. Split tunneling is a thing that allows you to have the vast majority of your computer running on the regular internet, and you can make it so that only select apps have to use the VPN in order to connect to the web. So this is a very selective and slightly less secure, as far as I'm aware, way of doing VPN access, where you can just set like your apps regarding banking or your business apps for connecting to your accounting software. You can force those to use the VPN connection, while the rest of the apps on your computer, which you don't really care about what they do, connect to the internet without the protections of a VPN. In this day and age, for most people, your internet connection is probably not going to be drastically slowed down by using a VPN. So it probably wouldn't be a terrible idea for you to use all of your apps through the VPN just for the sake of general security. But if you want to only have some of them running on the VPN and you don't care about the rest, you can be very selective using this setting. And you also can just disable VPN for selected apps or enable VPN for selected apps, depending on how you want to set that up. You can check and manage your profile and your subscription status by clicking on profile. That's sort of like your personal information. Because that contains my personal information, I'm not going to click on that. But that's the sort of the same stuff that you would get if you logged in to the NordVPN website. You can also refer a friend, and it would give you a refer a friend copy link that you can use. And if they sign up, you get some free months off of your subscription, 3 free months, which is kind of nice if you refer a friend. If you guys want to help support the channel and you guys have been interested in NordVPN and you've been kind of on the fence for a while, I do have an affiliate link in the video description below. It gets you a discount on NordVPN and some free months if you're interested in giving it a shot. It's very affordable, inexpensive, and very easy to use, and I've really liked this service for the time that I've been using it. You can also click here to look at other NordVPN products like NordPass or NordLocker or NordLayer. I do know for a fact that NordPass is password vault of sorts that encrypts your passwords, just like Lastpass. So that's a really good product. I'm not entirely certain what NordLocker and NordLayer do. I'll have to take a look at those a little bit later. And then at the bottom is your account, where you can select to log out or not and change to a different one if you have more than one. Like maybe your business uses an account and this is like your business computer and you want to make sure you're logged in to the correct account on the correct computer. So I hope you found that helpful. I have been your host, Larry. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And again, if you're interested, hit that affiliate link for a discount. Helps me out a whole bunch, helps support the channel. And until next time, I'll catch, and until next time, if you have any questions or comments, throw those in the video description below. I might have missed something, or something might still be confusing for you. I will give a shot, try to explain it, or help Google a better explanation. And yeah, have a good one, everybody, and toodles.